Okay, we're live. Hi.
Hi, this is Veronica again. And I'm going to do my second color wheel for this sketchbook.
We're doing it live today. Oh, hi, I'm Sergio.
I don't see anything on my end.
It's okay. There's a little bit of a delay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to start painting if no one can see anything, so...
No, they should be able to see it.
Okay. But, yeah. I'm doing this live, which is kind of scary, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just paint, after all.
Okay, cool. All right, do you want to explain a little bit of what this is?
The color wheel in general, or like what I'm doing today?
Or what this project is in general, and what you're doing. So both things.
So the palette journey is just me documenting color studies that I like to do of paint that I own. That sounds kind of like obvious, but I usually work with a limited palette, meaning I use a very like small number of colors on my palette that can mix a wide spectrum of color. And to do that, you need a good understanding of how paint mixes and how pigments behave. And I've been taught different types of palettes you can use. And ultimately, like, figuring out your palette is very personal. Mm. And so I'm kind of going overboard in taking this 36 set of colors that I have from the Nicker poster color paints and just doing all the combinations I can think of or want to do to come up with a palette. Just come up with different palettes, really, and think about paint. So like the last video that I did was lemon yellow, burnt sienna, and soft black. And like I wouldn't run off and use that as my palette forever or something, but it's a starting point, and then I can build off of that. And so since doing that color wheel, I've been thinking a lot of like, what if I add this color to it? Like, will that make some cool paintings from those combinations?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
That's a long answer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm gonna change over our camera here. We have our setup.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
what are we doing today?
I decided today I was going to reel it back in a little bit because the color wheel I did before is a little bit more extreme in terms of like pushing the pigments into a spectrum that's kind of, I don't want to say difficult, but it's not traditional. So I'm doing a like CMYK type of inspired palette. I'm going to use a Cerulean Blue as like my cyan. I'm going to use Magenta as Magenta. And I'm going to go with Chrome Yellow, which is a warmer yellow. Lemon Yellow is like kind of going towards green, so I would consider that a cool yellow. And I'm going to see what happens. I was thinking about this because a lot of people, when they start off with the red, yellow, blue primaries, you can get frustrated with the resulting color mixtures, and they don't behave the way color theory tells you they should behave. And so CMYK is the other solution to that issue. But if you go to like a paint store and try to buy a well, the CMY, the K is the black, equivalent, you might not actually get the range that you're hoping for. And I've had that experience. There was like a range of paints that I wanted to try out, but I didn't want to invest too much in buying a bunch of paint. I bought what I thought was like a magenta, cyan, yellow equivalent of that that paint selection, and it didn't have the flexibility I was hoping for. I would still have to buy more paint to make it work, so that didn't end up saving me much money. But it was, no matter what happens, like, you learn something new. So I'm gonna do that with these 3 colors, and we'll just see what happens, see how they behave, and is it a true primary color set that can give you a good spectrum, so that you don't have to add a bunch of colors to your palette.
Okay, so let's get started, right?
Yeah. So
what type of paints are these?
So these are poster colors. The brand is Knicker. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. I just own them. And they are known for being used by Studio Ghibli. They are poster colors, so you can kind of use them like watercolor or gouache, but they are different. Like, I wouldn't say that they're interchangeable. But either way, like, if you like the paint, then use what you like, I guess. And
Yeah.
just know what you're getting into, I guess. They're made for like scanning well. So the drawback is usually when a paint is made for like scanning and just reproduction, you have to look out for like the light fastness, so the paints might not be permanent. You might get like really vibrant colors, but you wouldn't want like the painting on the wall because it'll bleach, it'll like fade out eventually.
Yeah. We have Adriana on the chat. Says hi, Veronica. Hi.
Hi, Adriana.
So you're mixing.
I'm just putting. I put
Well,
lemon.
you're not mixing yet, but
I put lemon yellow, and I'm supposed to be doing chrome yellow. So I'm gonna just save that for later. It's gonna dry, and I can just use it later.
Okay.
So no harm done there.
okay. So what are you doing today? Lemon yellow,
I'm doing chrome yellow.
chrome yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I was playing around with the colors beforehand, and I probably should use lemon yellow, although I'm not like 100% on that.
Okay.
But you know, like, the whole point is to just see what happens. It's not like I'm not gonna win anything. Just more knowledge. I just like to have some paint on the palette trays because it keeps me from like contaminating the colors with other colors, which I'm not always very diligent about. Depends if I'm in a rush, or if I'm doing like a full finished painting, then yeah, I'm gonna be very disciplined in that area. But if I'm just like sketching, then sometimes I'll be lazy and not have like the 2 water set up. Okay, and the next one, this color is Magenta. I already have Cerulean Blue on my palette. I'm not sure like what pigment is in this paint. I don't know. There's not usually like a paint that's just called Magenta. It's usually like, if I was using acrylic paint, it would be like quinacridone. At least that's like the typical name.
Nice.
So I don't know if this is using the same like pigment as quinacridone or something else, or I don't know.
So these swatches that you see on the screen, you made that?
Yeah, this is I just made a swatch chart because I'm not using the tubes. They're not as portable to have like the whole box of tubes with me. And then I put them in like watercolor pans. So the issue with that is once they dry, they some of the colors look exactly the same. So I spent a long time just trying to figure out what color is what and numbering everything. The pans have numbers on the sides because like the blues get really confusing, and I'm still like worried that I labeled the ultramarine and the cobalt blue wrong.
Okay.
But in this process of doing the sketchbook, I'll probably figure that out. Some ultramarines are a little warmer, so I'll probably get like better purples, if that's the case. And that will kind of tell me what blue I have. So hard to multitask doing this.
Okay.
I have to like really pay attention that I'm putting it in the right swatch.
So is there a particular order you put in the primaries, or you just do it?
Like placement on the wheel or like painting it?
Placement on the wheel. Like you always put like your yellows up top.
I always put my yellow up top. I was thinking about like seeing if there is a like standard way to do it. But I think it just depends on what like color scientist or color theorist. I'm not sure like what the official title is for the people that I've learned about. I think they each have their own preferences based on whatever theory they have developed. And I just went with this, so I'm just trying to be consistent, like across my whole sketchbook. So if someone made the case that like, no, you're not supposed to do that, I'll change it, but not in the sketchbook. I'll do it, down the line.
And we have a question from Adriana. How long does it usually take you to complete a palette wheel?
I'd say like 30 to 40 minutes or so. The wheel is like maybe 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like with the painting below, I'd say like total 40-ish minutes to an hour.
Okay.
It depends like if I know exactly what I'm doing.
So the layout on the page is the wheel up top, and then underneath is your drawing.
Yeah, my painting. I sketched out the thing I'm gonna paint today because I'm pretty nervous on camera. But normally I just go for it and paint whatever comes to mind. I don't usually come to the page with some sort of plan, but if I'm gonna record these, I'm probably gonna do a little bit of planning beforehand to limit the chaos a little bit.
So I think one interesting thing about these color wheels is you might ask yourself, like, what is the purpose of this? I think the limitations of the palettes can be interesting in a creative way. I don't know. You have a better way of describing this.
You can use the limitations to your advantage. I think that's what
That's
ultimately I feel like that's where you want to get to. In the beginning, when I was learning how to paint, it usually just is frustrating. Because you just don't, it takes a lot of time to amass that knowledge of like what to do, and you're just trying to make a nice painting, and that can kind of get in the way, and it's just beginner's frustration. But at the same time, like some of my first paintings, because I was so like I was limited in the knowledge area, and I just had to like figure it out and do what I could with the palette I was given or was suggested. There's some really interesting color decisions that I made in my early paintings, with some guidance, of course, so that they didn't like go too out of control. Because my first paintings in college were, most of them were still life, but when I started doing portraits, you can get creative with color, but you can also make yourself look like a zombie or like lifeless if you get the wrong like flesh tones and stuff like that. So I'm not like super exact with this stuff. It's really exploration. I'm not going not like trying to make exact ratios and stuff with each swatch.
Adriana says, "Don't be nervous. You're doing great."
Thank you.
I agree. So you got some greens going.
Yes. So far the greens are pretty warm, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But until I like mix the green with the blue, I can kind of see like, okay, this palette will be limited. I'm not going to be able to get like this Viridian green here. Mm-hmm. Like that might be like out of the range of this palette. Let's see.
Awesome.
Yeah, so like you see here, this is a little bit diluted at this point. But it's not going to get that, you're not going to get like a super cool green, especially like the darker greens that are like really cool, like the Viridian on this chart.
Right.
So that could be a problem or it might not be. It's only really an issue if you're like trying to match color in like whatever source material you're using. So, and if that color is important to you, then yeah, you might want to add another paint pigment to your palette, but otherwise it can be fine.
Yes.
All right.
Joanna says, those colors are so vibrant. They are. They do look different in real life as to what you see on the stream. I mean, it's going through so many stages, right? It hits the camera, it comes over to our little streamer setup thing, and then it gets uploaded. So it might look a little different, but I'm trying to make sure that it looks at least accurate. to what we see here. And for the most part, it does. That brightness is actually there too. Cool. So you're doing a like a dirty water, clean water system here?
Yes.
What's that about?
It's so I don't contaminate the mixtures, because I could neutralize the colors if they are in my water. It's subtle, but if I'm doing a color wheel to really understand the range of the colors, then it's best to just take that precaution. So when I finish using a color and I'm going to switch to another one, I clean off the brush with the dirty water jar, and then when I'm going to re-wet the paint on my palette, I go to the clean jar so it doesn't carry over color into the paint that I'm about to use.
Mm. Do you normally do that, or is it just like a...
No. One, I think, alternative to that is, like, I usually keep, like, a spray bottle, like a mister, or it's like a little dropper. You can even use, like a water brush and just unscrew it and drop out the water. And just use that to re-wet the paint pans, and then you don't have to carry around two like open water containers.
All right.
And that kind of that does mostly the same thing. So
Stream's a little weird sometimes. You might see some jumping, but we're trying to figure this out. This is the first time we're streaming with this setup.
yeah.
It took us longer to actually get all the way set up, but we will be posting. We are recording this locally, so we'll have a good video to post afterward, because it's looking pretty wild over here.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of mix myself up sometimes using the two water thing. But it's a good habit, so
Nice.
if I'm gonna do something like a series like this, then I should try to have the good habits in some areas.
Now we have some purples going on here.
Yeah. So I didn't really check beforehand, but one thing to keep in mind when you're figuring out your palette is how transparent your colors are, because that can affect your palette and its range. And I didn't realize, so the Cerulean Blue is transparent. The Magenta is opaque. It's listed as opaque, but it's pretty transparent in relatively transparent to other paints that I've used.
Adriana says, I'm jealous that you only need 2 water jars. I usually have 3 or 4 containers of waters when painting.
Oh, really? I think I would be really confused. I like to... I don't know. Sometimes I like a very like strict setup, and sometimes I like to just kind of go nuts and go for it.
I think as long as you know which cup has your tea,
Yeah.
you're all set.
Yeah, I try not to drink like anything near my paint, and I was drinking coffee before this, and I already like got some droplets on my sketchbook and my swatches. But it's not the end of the world. But yeah, drinking paint water is not good.
Yeah.
not good for us. Alright, so
Cool.
the wheel is almost done. I'm probably going a bit slower because I'm on camera and my attention is split a little bit. I'm trying not to like make mistakes and like paint in the wrong spot or use the wrong color or whatnot. So I'm a little bit slower. You can see like how much cooler the lemon yellow is to the chrome yellow. The chrome yellow is opaque. Again, relatively opaque. So we'll see how that plays out with this magenta.
Adriana says, I've never mistaken my drink for paint and water, so I find it funny that others have experienced that. Maybe you're not a real artist. I don't know.
No, lucky you. That's like, it's the worst.
You shouldn't really be eating or drinking near
No,
paint,
it's not the,
especially oil paint.
yeah. The last time I did it, well, the thing I think that is, like my first reflex was to spit it all out, and so I just spit it all out in like my bedroom or something. So
You gotta commit. You
yeah.
gotta be an artist.
So yeah, don't eat your paint. Even if Van Gogh did that or whatever.
So we have an orange.
Yeah.
So no real reds, like deep reds, right?
No, it's definitely gonna limit the reds. It's not gonna, I mean, the reds in this this paint set are not, I'm not sure the right word for what I'm trying to say.
They're more orangey.
Yeah, they're more orangey, but like like there are some more like purpley ones, but they're not very opaque, I guess. They kind of, I don't know. I'm losing my
Do you think that's due to like the medium?
It's probably the pigment that's in it. The names are not like the standard, not all of the colors, but the reds, and no, actually they are. I think it has to do with the pigment that they're using. I'm not very familiar with like the lake colors. I haven't really used them on my palette. So I'm not too familiar with like how they behave or how like transparent or opaque they are. So that could be perfectly normal for these colors and these pigments, but I started off using like alizarin crimson, and I have since kind of phased that out on my palette. All right.
One more.
Last one. I'm already like taking double takes.
Looks good so far.
It's a nice, like, bright palette. So this is probably the wrong palette for like the subject I chose. Now that I think
it might work. I don't know.
It might work, but yeah, it might not. It might be really like, I'm supposed to be drawing or painting this emo couple that you took a photo of, and it's like midday. It's like,
Yeah, it's definitely midday, summer.
so like the shadows are really, really, really the contrast is really high and intense.
Yes.
And that might be a little bit difficult to work with. But I don't know, that can also make it interesting. It'll make it interesting or frustrating. That's kind of like, that's where it will go.
Cool.
So
Okay, so we have our color wheel.
So yeah,
Almost finished.
there's the red.
There's that red.
It's still a nice red. I think it's a nice, like, fire engine red, but just not very, it's not very dark.
Yeah. All right, so we can. You're gonna start the drawing. Do you want to take like a 5-minute break?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a 5-minute break.
Stretch a little bit. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, and stick around.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're back.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, so we have our color wheel done,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're gonna do your
My painting. So I'm gonna do this couple at Six Flags, this emo couple. We'll see what happens because this might be challenging because of the harsh shadows and the dark, like those really like dark colors there. I'm not gonna mess too much with like the background.
You want to bring it closer to the camera so people can see.
Ta-da! Right there.
So I took this picture 2008, I think. So those are real emos. Those are not.
They're not staged.
Yeah.
When I was like sketching the guy, I had to like force myself to like mess with the proportions because his pants are pulled down kind of low.
Yeah.
So I had to like.
Do you want to push this up a little bit so we can see our full
Mm-hmm.
thing? There we go.
There. So.
All right, let's get started.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything here. You're doing the whole thing. But... All right.
I'm just gonna start with the blue because it's there.
Okay.
I started doing like the painting on the bottom because I don't like throwing away extra paint. And so like my whole palette is filled with like paint, so that's part of the reason. That's like the practical reason. So I'm gonna try to go in for the shadows first.
What's your usual process for these?
Just go for it.
Just go for it.
I don't know. It probably changes every time. But I think the best way to kind of go at it is to like identify some like large patches of color and tackle it that way. Like always kind of leaving the detail for last is like a good way to approach it. So just painting like shapes of color. Like a paint by number that you make yourself in your brain. And then her pants are a little more. It kind of depends on like the subject. The last painting that I did was like all from my head, so I think I focused more on like just varying the mark making. So like doing larger patches of color and You know, like with the like bushes and stuff like that. Using more of like the point of the paintbrush and thinking about it that way. I was more mindful about the mark making and like how I was using my brush in that painting. And this one, I'm looking more at like shapes of color to kind of organize my mind on this, because it's the shadows are really harsh and kind of hard to see everything, and it's okay that like stuff kind of blends together depending on like the style of painting you want. I think the cool thing on the jeans is that there's some really subtle like temperature differences between like the girls' jeans and the boys' jeans. Like his are a little bit greenish. So that can be like a place to like have fun with color. This is really hard to do, to be honest.
It's really interesting to see the styles, how they've changed, but they're basically the same.
Oh, like the clothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My guy has a Norma Jean t-shirt with some kind of dinosaur on there.
Oh.
We have he's got gauges.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the picture on here on our system, but I think for next time, if we do have a reference, we can add it on here so we can look at our reference a little closer.
Yeah, I don't usually use a reference when I started this like color wheel thing. But to be on camera is already enough like multitasking, yeah. So I'm probably gonna use that instead of going full in.
Yeah. And now we have your Magenta here. She has a Paramore bag.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
I'm not even like registering like what it is. Okay.
Shout out to Paramore.
Yeah. I think I try to look for like the less complex mixtures too. Like if I can go in and just use like a straight like color that's already on my palette, like already mixed, then I might prioritize getting that on the painting first. And just to make my life easier.
Yeah.
So
This reference, I can see how it can be difficult. Like there are a lot of dark areas.
yeah.
Like the hair, the guy's shoes.
Like it's gonna be hard to get like a really dark color in this palette. And like maybe I can get a darker color, but it won't be the color I want. I guess is the thing. It'll just be hard to get it where I want it. So like I don't think I can get much darker than this like purple. But we'll see. I'm probably just gonna have to like make some stuff up too. Like that's just part of the process. Like can't stick too closely to the photograph, and there's no need to either.
No.
Can.
There's already a photograph.
Yeah. Alright. So like now I'm trying to get some other colors like for her hair. So like these colors aren't really on the wheel. And that's I guess what I would call like a more complex mixture. I'm adding like a green to neutralize the orange so it looks more like hair color. But if I wanted to go for a style that's more like, I don't know, more graphic or something and not realistic, then maybe I wouldn't do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
All right.
The drawing is gonna be very.
But the thing, I'm muting myself because I'm coughing here, so I'm glad we have a way to not have the coughs out there.
Oh yeah.
So how do you feel about this project so far? Is this like a thing that you're going to be working on for the whole year?
I don't see why not. I mean, it's like, I mean, unless it got in the way of like some other thing that needed to get done. This project has helped me kind of stay in touch with painting, with like traditional paint. And because it's not very conducive to like the lifestyle that I have. I don't have like a separate studio or space for painting. And then there's also the time factor. So this is a good exercise to keep that painting knowledge fresh. Because this is the stuff that like really, like I get really rusty with if I don't pick up a paintbrush for a long time. So yeah, I could definitely see myself doing it throughout the year.
You've been doing more digital art recently.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about how this can connect to working digitally to kind of bridge the two worlds, my like painting brain and what I've learned from digital art. Because that's I think the biggest thing that I miss from working digitally is that I don't get to paint. I do get to paint, but I don't get to mix paint. And I like mixing paint. It's like, it's a simple activity, but like, I mean, I get a lot of joy out of that, so I kind of want to just keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see. I'm getting my waters mixed up now. That's okay. I don't need like as pure colors anymore. So like even on my palette, I'm kind of going all over the place, like in terms of like where I'm putting my paintbrush. I don't really care as much if stuff gets mixed up because I need it to be mixed up.
Alright, I'm gonna grab some water.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Okay. Yeah. The wheel, like multitasking with that is not so bad unless I like paint something in the wrong place, but like painting people, this is a new experience. Painting it live as well. This
All
guy.
right, let's get back.
This guy has black shoes. That might be like the most challenging thing on here.
All right, yeah.
We'll see.
I'm trying to drink water quietly, but it's not gonna happen.
Okay. I don't even know how I'm gonna do the white shirt yet. I'm obviously not gonna use like white paint. I do have white paint in the set, but I'm gonna use the white of the paper. So I'll probably have to mix a very light neutral from this palette to get something resembling a shirt and not just like a place where I didn't paint.
It's like the loudest water thing. All right. Cool. If you're out there in Twitch land, we were originally going to stream to Facebook. I mean,
No.
not Facebook, YouTube. But
yeah. That didn't work out.
yeah,
Well,
wasn't completely set up yet.
yeah.
So we're streaming to Twitch. If you have any questions, go ahead. I'm looking at the chat here.
His hair is black too.
Yep.
Alright, I'll see what I can do. So I'm not adding white to this palette and I'm not adding black. What I'm gonna try to do is mix something dark by mixing all the complementary colors together. So let's see. So I kind of need like an orange and then mix it with like a bluish green like that. And then I'll just kind of keep adding stuff till it gets close. So, like, even if it's not that dark, like, obviously, like, if you look at it compared to the black in the palette, like, in the paint pans, color is relative. I will probably say that, like, a million times in all these videos. Like, if it's relatively darker than the other stuff that you have on in your painting, then that's enough. So I don't have to have a black. It just has to look black. Okay, so I'm just like going really back and forth. That's kind of weird. I didn't expect that purple. I got like a golden brown green thing going on. That is so weird. Okay, so like I'm already like pretty thrown off by what happened there, to be honest.
What happened?
Okay, so like I got pretty close. I got like a good dark brown and then I added something. I lost track. And then it went to like this greenish brown and now I'm at like a reddish brown again. So if I'm at a reddish brown, I'm gonna go and add some cerulean blue. And then it kind of goes pretty green. So if it goes green, then go into that magenta. And I think I'm gonna have to go with this. So it's like this like dark purple. I think that's gonna have to be as close as I can get to black.
Okay.
You know?
It works though, like when you actually look at it
Yeah.
on the paper.
So that's basically what happened when I got that other paint. And I was like, I'm gonna just get cyan, magenta, and yellow and not have to spend a lot of money because I need to control my art supply spending. And what happened was I went to the palette and I was like, okay, I'm gonna mix all these complementaries to get like a darker color or a neutral, and they're just like, I don't know the right term for it, but they just kind of like go back and forth. The colors stay fairly bright, which is good in some cases, but when I'm trying to get like a black, it's not good. Well, maybe not. It's fine. It just like it's harder. It's harder to get the color that I'm trying to get. I'm gonna see if I can keep going and get that darker purple again for the shoes. And this one's a little more purpley, more bluish purple, which will work. Or the other issue I've had is that everything just goes green because everything is kind of cool on the palette. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a thing that happens and it feels like you can't get out of green. It's like a dead end. Okay. This could be a good color to dilute to get my like neutral gray, and then I can just like I can throw in like a little bit of yellow or something for any like reflective light. So like his arm has like a little bit of reflective light on the shirt, so it's kind of like orangey where the arm like touches. So I could just like throw a little bit of orange with that gray. The drawback of like working fast is that I don't have as much control over like the water and like the patches of color drying. So that's a different challenge of doing this like drawing. I'm trying to like move around and let certain patches like dry and stuff.
I see. Do you need like a little fan?
Probably not a fan, but like a heat gun or something.
Oh, okay.
Or one of those craft heat guns, not like the industrial ones. So yeah, this is like a... I feel like the colors are making them look like a happier...
Yeah.
like, they're like...
It looks like they're on the beach.
Or something. I don't know. Just, they don't look as moody as they do in the photo. Yeah. It's funny, like, as soon as I got into, like, this painting, I feel like I'm fighting myself going back to, like, my bad habits and, like, just putting paint everywhere. And mixing everything up. It's also because I usually paint with acrylic paint, and so I can just paint over stuff if I mess up. And this is not. This will reactivate like the layers of paint underneath, so I don't have as much forgiveness for putting paint in the wrong place. I'm not gonna get like too detailed on this.
Yeah, Joanna says watercolor is less forgiving.
Yeah. That's why I'm usually a little bit afraid of it.
She's kind of like that relative you don't really want to be around.
It's nice. I think like if you're a little more loosey-goosey on your like painting habits, then you can like mess up your painting and there goes all your work.
Yeah. It's shaping up.
It's coming together.
Alright, my laptop's running out of battery. I'll be right back. But keep going.
Yes. All right. So I usually stop when I'm like running out of paint on my palette. Like, it's kind of how I control my time. Because I could probably sit here forever painting if I wanted to, but if I'm running out of paint on the palette, I don't want to noodle around too much either. So that's part of the reason. Not sure how detailed I'll get on the faces. Let's see.
Alright. How are we doing?
I think we're almost there. I don't know, like, I don't want to get too detailed. I don't think we have the time for that. And I'm getting hungry. Alright. This, like, that dark color that I can mix is so volatile.
Alright. You're doing good. So far, it's been around an hour.
Okay.
Hour 10.
Okay. I can feel myself running out of steam.
Yeah.
A little bit. Probably working a little bit faster than I usually do, so the pace is a little bit different. What is on his shirt? Because I'm not familiar with these bands or anything.
It's like a dinosaur.
Like a raptor?
Let me give you,
I'm not gonna like do it exact.
yeah, here we go.
Norma Jean. Huh. Okay, I see.
It's like some kind of dinosaur.
At least I have experience with some dinosaur drawing now.
Hmm. There's a lot of shirts like that during that time. Very like print. He also has a interesting tattoo.
He has a tattoo?
Yeah, on his. I mean, obviously you can't.
Oh, it's on his hand.
It's on his hand.
Oh, okay.
But he does have an armband or a wristband.
I'm gonna.
That's like super bright.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in and like put the yellow.
Yeah.
Right there. I can't see it on the like printout.
Yeah.
A little bit of color there. His like earring is like super bright
Mm.
in the photo.
I don't think I've been back
To Six
to
Flags.
Six Flags since then. I don't believe so. No.
I haven't either. And I don't think I will.
Yeah. I can't remember whether or not that was before or after. No, I think it was after, so that probably was the last time. One time I went with a friend who had like a work thing.
Oh,
And so work paid for everything.
that's the
and-
way to go.
Yeah, so everything is basically free. The food was free. They have like a separate little island area section. And it also happened to be the same day as like Latin Festival Day or something. And so they had a bunch of groups playing. And I got to see Daddy Yankee
Oh,
live. And they were Calderon.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's so random.
Yeah. Not sure about that. Definitely Tego, because I remember his hair. And I remember the bass being like out of control. Like I felt like I was gonna like number two, because it was so like you could feel it in your nose, like your nasal cavity, how much bassy it was. It was pretty interesting.
That's
But
kind of wild.
it was free, so I was down for it.
I'm afraid of heights, like very afraid. So me and roller coasters are. I've ridden roller coasters. I've never been on the Superman actually,
Oh really?
and I think I missed my
Your opportunity.
my window of opportunity.
Yeah,
like,
that was the last time I went on it.
So, like, you may have been able to convince me to go then, but now, no. Probably have a heart attack in line.
Yeah, I think at that point, I mean, I was going on a lot of rides like that back then. I think that the thing that was different about that time that I went is that was the first time I ever felt like dizzy after going on a ride, or like nauseous.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So usually I wouldn't feel that, but I went on some roller coaster that just like flips you around a lot.
The one that, I forget what it's called, the one that goes backwards?
Yeah, that one.
That one,
You do like a loop, and then you do like a little twisty, and then you go up, and then it comes back down, and you do the twisty and the loop. That like messed up my head.
I was like, kind of like mad. Because I get motion sickness, and that was like
Yeah.
the worst motion sickness I've ever had. After that.
Yeah, I didn't feel so good after that, but I had some chicken after, and I felt better.
Just have the chicken. I also rode like some like chair thing that hangs you upside down.
Okay.
That was bad. I was screaming for my life. The shadow on her face is kind of funny.
Oh boy.
It's pretty hard to get in there. but I'm doing my best.
Yeah. When you look at the picture, though, it's there. Like, it's... Yeah.
She has a lot of makeup on, I think.
Yeah, she's got the eyeshadow.
So her eyes are like if me painting them, they're just like these black dots.
Yeah.
It looks funny.
Like little beady eyes.
Yeah.
His jeans are so far down. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a miracle they're staying on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them as much like value range I can out of this, but it is not easy. It just takes a lot of control. And also, like, on my palette, this looks like really purple, but when I put it here, it's like more.
Oh wow, yeah.
It looks more like black in comparison. So, yeah, I have no idea how I'm gonna fix her face, or if I will fix her face.
See the shadows. Yeah, it looks different on the screen here. But can you like bring it a little closer to the camera just so I can see what it looks like so far? Like, I want to get a different.
Yeah.
Let me see if we can focus here. It looks so funny. You know what? It looks better far away.
Yeah. That's okay. This is just like...
Alright, there we go. Let's get focus.
Let's see.
It'd be good to have a second camera that's more of a close-up shot. The girl looks cursed. She probably is.
Like her face melted.
Yeah. Oh, is that you?
Yeah. Okay. Getting phone calls. Or spam calls, really.
Yes.
A little more stuff on his shirt.
Yeah, it's shaping up. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how far I'll go with this. I think I'm close to wrapping up, but...
Okay.
I wish there was some greens in this, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'll just throw it in there somewhere.
Her face.
Maybe I'll put it in her face. Maybe I can balance it out with some green. It's just hard. It's hard to do the detail in a short amount of time, because I really need the bottom layers to dry. But
Okay.
let's see. Oh, maybe I think I know how to describe. Like, usually when you mix a lot of, like, if you mix all your colors on your palette together, usually you get black. But these don't do that. And they can kind of, like, it almost seems like they get lighter in a way.
Yeah.
If you, like, throw, like, yellow back in there. And it has that, like, weird... I don't know, it just has that, like, weird thing where it feels like you just can't get darker. And that's why well, this is a nice, like, range of colors here. I would supplement it with something so I can get some darker values. Or, you know, I think if you paint long enough with it, you get used to it too. And you'll know what your limits are and stuff. So, alright, I'm gonna try to put some green in her face.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Because, like, one way around it is, like, I made the shadow very, like, red. is that if I layer green on top, I might be able to... This might be a little too wet. I might be able to make it a little bit darker.
Okay.
I was playing around with like glazing these paints. So just like layering washes of them on top of each other. And I mean, I don't really know I don't know too much about glazing, so I'll put that out there first. I don't have a lot of experience with it. I just know like the theory of it. These paints are probably not the best for that, is my impression so far. Okay, her face looks like soup now. It does get dark though, so
okay.
It's not, you know, a little too dark maybe.
It's hard because like the actual picture, the shadow is fairly hard and
yeah,
dark.
the shadow's very like purpley, so
Yeah.
I might like let it dry a little bit, go in with one more layer, and then that's it.
Okay.
That's as far as I'll go. 'Cause then it's just doomed at that point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just gonna add a darker shadow here. Yeah, sometimes like if you can add an opaque like little shape of color in there, that can get you closer to like black or whatever value you're trying to get. So I'm not liking the green though. It's, I don't know, maybe sometimes the look will change too after the paint dries. And I might be staring at this for too long, so.
Yeah. It looks okay on Twitch, at least.
That's good.
You just do a screen capture and print that out instead.
All right. It's still a little bit too wet.
Okay.
I'm trying to see where else I can add some stuff.
Did you ever fall into the emo category?
I don't think so.
No.
No. I liked some emo bands, but I don't think I was really into the scene aspect. Oh, that purple is good. My like boyfriend when I was like 14 or whatever did though, so
Yeah.
that's how I know of some emo bands and listen to their music and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or hardcore, whatever. I don't know. I don't know all the genres.
I sure understood. I definitely had an emo phase, and I'm going through another one right now.
That's alright.
That's cool.
I I made a playlist recently of some of the bands I used to listen to. Just to kind of like reminisce. I do remember like the first time I heard Dashboard Confessional.
Oh.
It was like someone put like a media player thingy on their website, and it was like at the time it was like didn't sound like anything else.
Was it on there like MySpace or something?
No, it wasn't MySpace. It was like
Oh, they just had
I think it was an artist that I
Okay.
was like I don't even want to. Well, like following, but not following because it wasn't like.
Yeah, they didn't follow people back then.
Yeah, it wasn't social media. It was somebody's like actual page.
Yeah.
I wish I knew who it was, but there's a bunch of artists I don't remember. Who I follow.
MySpace. Yeah, I had some pretty good music on MySpace. I was slightly, although I am the exact age for emotional music. I ended up trending more towards like A Perfect Circle.
Yeah,
and
same.
like Chevelle.
Yeah.
And whatever. Like the butt rock,
Butt rock?
not really like Disturbed, but
Yeah. Deftones.
Deftones. Everyone says they like the Deftones now, but yeah. Deftones.
I feel like
System of a Down too. Shout out to them.
oh yeah.
I like them because they were they were from another country. If that makes sense. They're angry about something different than
I had a big Linkin Park phase, so whatever.
Okay.
That tells you about me.
I wasn't really into them.
No, you're like smarter than me.
No, I think they're good. But I think like now looking at them,
They were
listening to their music, I think they were pretty good. But,
they were the gateway out of like boy bands into like the more like
definitely.
edgy.
It was definitely more of you saw more girls liking
Yeah.
Linkin Park, right? Same with like Deftones and stuff. Like no girl ever liked Tool.
I did because of my brother, but I was also like really weirded out by Tool at the same time.
More of Perfect Circle, right? Like.
Well, I knew of Tool very early on because of my brother, but he was kind of getting into trouble back then, so. And I don't know. It kind of like, I think it was tied to like his like persona of being like rebellious. So, like me being so much younger, I was kind of like cautious around the music. So.
I think by the time the emo stuff got like really, really popular, I ended up listening to more like indie stuff. I look at Adriana, she just asked you guys like indie music. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like embarrassing, like Death Cab for Cutie, like Bright Eyes, and
I didn't get into them that much, but
I still like them. Like I still will listen to them once in a while. I can't super relate to the lyrics that much anymore. But they're very good. Just good, solid music.
I don't know what genre I listen to now. Like, I don't know. I don't think I know the genre names anymore.
Recently, I've been listening to. Well, I started listening to Death Cab again. Just because they're in vogue once again. There's like a resurgence of drum and bass music, which is really cool. So I've been listening to drum and bass. So I missed out on drum and bass, even though it was part of everyone's life. Like it was in TV commercials. It was like everywhere.
Yeah.
And my exposure to it was in mainly like video games.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's why it sounds so familiar, but like also.
Yeah.
Like not, like. You think like, oh, that's not the music that I'm into, but it's like, wait, I am into it.
And so now I'm kind of going back and looking up artists that sort of inspired these video game soundtracks. And first, it sounds awesome because it's not played off of like a Nintendo 64, but it's been kind of really interesting to go back to this catalog that feels very familiar to me, but I completely missed out on.
Okay.
Nice.
Her face is wild. But, yeah. And her hand, I can't really even see it in the photo, so I'm just gonna like just make some fingers.
Sure. It's just gonna look like AI. Like,
yeah.
artwork. For some reason, AI can't get like those fingers right? It's always like this club hand or 6-10 fingers.
My thought was like, I don't know, I was working on something else and I think I was messing up a hand. And I was like, this is how I sabotage AI. I just make more bad hands.
Yeah.
And they just have bad hands. If there's only one thing that I do in my life is to sabotage AI with bad source artwork.
They're gonna take it anyway, so might as well.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Like, if they're gonna, like, not be selective about what they choose, well, that's what you get. I don't know. It's a weird thought that I had.
Yeah, it's shaping up.
Yeah. Should I do what are those on her shirt? Skulls or?
They're like tiny skulls, I believe.
I think if I saw that now, I would think it was like Spider-Man or
Like
something.
little alien skulls.
Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I think I might do it.
Remember
but I'm gonna
Aliens? Like,
Alien.
yeah, like the aliens.
Which
Not
one?
the movie Aliens, but the little smooth looking things.
What smooth looking things?
You know, like an alien with the head and the big eyes.
Oh, yeah. Do I remember them?
Yeah. Because you don't really see them anymore. I remember there was like this alien. It doesn't really look like that, but there was an alien on a Sony Walkman commercial, I think.
Oh.
That had some kind of song.
Made them a little bigger.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'm trying to keep it light, and so there's just like a ton of water on my brush. So this can get out of control.
It's like a Cypress Hill song. That's what it was.
This might be the last touch because
Okay.
I want to eat food.
Yeah, it's getting late.
We spent so much time trying to
Like
get the
setting
stream to work that like we didn't schedule lunch
Yeah.
like at a normal time. So
Looks good so far.
yeah. So far, I've only like watched people like paint live. Doing it myself is interesting.
I don't think I've ever watched someone paint live. Are they more like exciting?
Oh no, wait, not live on. No, I haven't watched anyone stream like actual painting,
Okay.
but
Just like digital?
I've seen videos of, yeah, just digital, but I've seen videos of like James Gurney painting out in the,
Oh, okay. Well.
and I mean that's hard with the elements and stuff.
Yeah.
And I have friends from college that paint, do plein air and stuff. Um, that's really hard.
Now, live streaming plein air would be
That would be
interesting
challenge.
to watch. Yeah, I love James. Yeah, James Gurney's like, he's a beast.
Another level.
Yeah.
But I had some teachers that did like plein air. Like they love, like that was their thing. And well, one of them was like a little hard to. It was hard to grasp like what she was trying to teach and like painting because she was like, I think I was doing a watercolor painting, and she was teaching my class in high school. And she would have the issue where she would get like really into your painting and be like, "Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful." And it's like, "Well, what is happening? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you explain it to me?"
Why is it beautiful?
She just would like get really into it, and it was like, "Come back, tell me what I'm doing. I don't get it." It's just less very inspired. Which is cool. It's cool to have that energy in your... I had a sculpture professor that was like that too. And he would like just go off if you like had a good like sculpture sketch idea thing, and he could just like ramble on and why it's like so cool. So yeah, you need someone like that to get excited. But you also need somebody that like is boring sometimes to explain what's happening.
You gotta hype each other up.
Yeah.
In art, like you can't do it alone. That's like the biggest thing.
You need the hype and you need the
support.
The brain.
Yeah.
The intellectual aspect too. Okay, there I am. You know, messing up the hands for AI. It's all part of my master plan. Okay.
Cool.
I think I'm gonna stop there because I'm hungry.
All right.
But yeah, that's
You wanna like bring it in a little bit?
I'll lift it up. Oh, this is
lift it up. And I'll see if I can focus here.
Well, technically this is my like CMY palette.
My guy.
And that's the journey for today. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. When are we gonna do this again? In a couple of weeks.
Maybe in a couple weeks. Like streaming or like just...
I kind of like the streaming format.
Yeah.
Because it makes it easier for me to edit the video afterward.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we have people who are watching, so if you want to help us out, tell other people. This is the first... We have no friends. We're very little friends.
Don't say that.
That are online.
Insult the friends that we have. And...
We don't have like techno online friends, so just give the word out.
Yeah, if you like color, come hang out and...
Yeah, don't lie. Yeah, you do have a lot of friends. Well, you have a lot of friends. There's this Spanish guy on TikTok who's really great. Who?
Oh, that guy.
I don't want to meet anyone new. It's funnier when he says it, but yeah.
Yeah, he's intense.
Yes. Great. So I think that about covers it. Is there anything else you want to say?
I think that's it for today. There's a lot in my head.
Are you gonna work on it a little bit after, or?
Anything I say now might be a lie. So
Okay.
if I say yes, it might be a lie. If I say no, it might be a lie.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
It's not gonna be like I'm not gonna make this like a super finished painting. If I keep working on it, it's because I'm like, oh, I can do this, and then
And
Yeah.
maybe that's the point, right? Like it's just a simple exploration of the palette itself, and then if you do want to use it later on for a full piece or whatever.
Yeah. I do need it to be like fully dry to really like understand the palette and like what I was doing with it. So that there's that aspect of it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Goodbye.